Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 57 of Lonely Gods. I'm your host, David Reinhardt, and this week I'm joined here, as always, by Kate Riley.
Can you believe that we've done 57 of these now? Like, I
Sort
know
of. No.
I know this isn't like
No.
a milestone of any kind, but I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to believe it had I not watched all the fucking Doctor Who. Otherwise, yes, I can totally believe that. I watched all the goddamn Doctor Who. Not that it's a bad
Well,
thing. It's been fantastic, except for,
a few,
some
some.
over the
Um,
planet.
I don't know. I was just when I was posting the Carnival of Monsters episode I posted today. I was obviously like on the site and looking back, and it was like the first one was posted in like October 2012, and I was like, it doesn't seem like that long. But
Yes.
anyway.
We are here this week to talk about The Green Death, the
The
season
Green Death.
10
Season 10, yeah.
10 finale. Cool, I was right.
Yeah. It
And
bothers me that John Pertwee's last season is season 11. I feel like you should have left on an even number, but I don't know why.
yeah, I
It
don't
seems like 11
understand.
is a weird one to leave.
This is also Joe's last story.
It is.
So poor Katie Manning can finally catch a break.
Yeah. I think what she did next is she hosted like an arts and crafts show after this. They had some footage from it on the DVD as an extra.
You know what? Faith actually watched this story with me.
Really, the whole thing?
Yeah, well, no, not the,
6
the last
episodes?
the
Jesus.
last three episodes.
Oh, okay.
Just because she would have watched more, but I was watched them when she wasn't here because I usually do that because she usually, especially when we were watching the black and white stuff, she didn't like it, but she seemed to enjoy this, so I'm gonna try to get her to
Really? Just because
watch.
it's black and white? That's a silly reason not to like something.
Well, and it was super cheesy, and it wasn't that she didn't like it, she just didn't feel like devoting the energy to get into it. We
Ah.
watch a lot of TV. I can understand that. I mean, it's Doctor Who, so it's kind of hard, but
I, I don't know if I'd call the black and white episodes like any more or less cheesy than any of the rest of it.
maybe
I
you're
mean,
right. I don't know. Some people just don't like watching black and white stuff.
yeah, I don't get it. I mean, but then on the other hand, like the only real like, I'm the kind of nerd that's like, I'll totally watch a subtitled foreign black and white film, be perfectly happy. So, you know.
Yeah. Um.
The other thing I don't like too much, I think, as far as old stuff, is silent movies. And not that they're bad. There are a few silent movies I do like. It's just when you have to interrupt the footage so you can throw up a caption of what people are saying. Like it kind of like kills the pacing for me, I guess.
I don't know, dude. I really liked Silent Movie and The Artist.
You're killing
What?
me.
You side one is an Academy Award winning film that's amazing, and the other one is a Mel Brooks movie that is amazing. So,
Yes, yes. I was thinking more along the lines of movies made in the 20s though. So I was like, oh, never mind.
I know, I know. I like some Charlie Chaplin stuff, but it's kind of hard to watch.
Well, yeah. Again, honestly, like if they could remaster them instead of like cutting to a card, if they could remaster them so that it just comes up as a subtitle, I think that would like solve all my problems with silent movies.
Maybe.
Anyway,
So we're here to talk about the Green Death.
yes. I can tell by that yawn you were really into it.
No, I actually enjoyed the Green Death. I'm excited to talk about it. I took
Oh, wow.
notes. You didn't like
Well,
it?
I thought it was meh.
It was definitely better than the last couple we've watched.
Was it? I don't think so. I mean, it might be less frustrating than Planet of the Daleks, but it's not as good as Frontier in Space. Like at all.
I liked it. I have notes.
Oh,
My
well,
first note is the elevator green screen.
that was terrible.
That was terrible. I actually liked most of the effects that they used the green screen, except for the driving and the elevator.
The driving the elevator and the awful sequence when they're in the minecart going across like a sea of
Oh
fucking things.
yeah, I
That
forgot
was
about that.
terrible. Oh, and the giant fly, that sucked too. There was a
Oh
lot,
yeah, that sucked.
there was a lot of
Okay, I
really
liked
bad effects in
I
this.
liked I liked the maggots.
Yeah.
I
So
thought
you
the
know what?
maggots looked really good.
The maggots themselves are fine. It's just the
Yeah,
way that everything was composited together looks like shit.
yeah, I thought that they moved very convincingly. It's just you you'd see like the artifacting like that those black lines that show up in old green screen shit like
Yeah, the
a foot
fringing.
above it. Yeah, like it was nowhere near the maggot. You just see it around it.
No, it's not. It wasn't put together very well, and I don't know.
No, you know what was put together really well was
Wait a
the
second. I'm sorry, but like between that and the stupid giant fly, your girlfriend cannot tell me that that's somehow like more cheesy than like Dalek's master plan. Come on, like this one's pretty silly.
I don't know. I still liked it. I still liked the story.
Well, I don't know.
It felt like a comic book.
It's mm, yeah, maybe.
The
I don't
bad
know.
guy is Armin Zola.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing necessarily.
Why not?
Because I don't know. I suppose for the listener's sake, you should probably basically just say what the story's about.
Okay, so this story is the I don't remember how it starts.
Oh well, there's some.
Hold on, I have the summary pulled up.
Oh well. I mean, you don't have to go through it beat by beat, but just in general.
Okay, yeah, so the doctor wants to go to Metabetus 3.
I got the metapenis.
Metabetus. Um,
uh,
but Joe wants to go meet a Nobel Prize winning professor.
yeah, because him and his hippies like live next door to like a fucking oil refinery or some bullshit,
Yeah,
and like a coal
and
mine. So
and
they're like,
the brig
they're like
wants to go check out the death of a miner who turned green.
yes, the Green Death. How
I
about that?
thought that the glow worked. I thought that the
Oh,
green glow was
that's
effective.
probably the best effect in the show.
Yeah.
The green glow worked really well, and actually it was really simple because it's a certain kind of like makeup appliance. It's a little bit like Dayglow or like construction vest where it glows if you hit it with a certain light. So all you have to do is like put a light on the front of the camera and it'll light up the glow.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
So yeah, it was pretty cheap to do, and it looks a hell of a lot better than the terrible giant fly that they probably spent like £100 on. But
Yeah, that fly sucked.
oh my god. I think I was gonna say that the giant fly from Planet of Giants, in season 2, and like 9 years prior, looks better than this one. But I think the thing is the giant fly in that story didn't actually have to move too much, so
Yeah.
I'm sure if it
But
did, it would look horrible too.
but so basically what unfolds is the professor wants to stop global chemical from polluting everything. And there's this silly but effective running gag about fungus that they're eating that substitutes for meat.
Oh yeah, where the brigadier won't believe it's
This
not beef.
this is beef. No, it's the same thing you already had.
Yeah,
It's just cooked different.
it's pretty good. But yeah, so I guess the maggots in the sledge are basically like the result of all the pollution from the chemical
Yeah.
plant.
Well, the Brigadier, Mike Yates, and Sergeant Benton all have really good parts in this story. I
Do
thought.
they? Benton doesn't do a whole lot.
Okay, maybe Benton doesn't do too much.
No,
But
I think he
Yates is
shouts at
fantastic.
some other soldiers, but
Yates is fantastic in this
Yates is
story.
pretty good in this one for sure. There's not a lot of love for Mike Yates out there, unfortunately. I don't know why, but
I really liked him a lot in this story.
yeah, he seemed to be having a lot of fun, and we
Yeah.
haven't had him in the show since the last season finale. Actually, he skipped out all the rest of the season,
Oh wow.
so he's been away for a while. But he and John Pertwee are clearly having fun with each other. So.
Oh yeah. Well, it was cool because he got to have a lot of fun and like be goofy, and then he was also like deathly serious at parts, so he got to play both roles, and he pulled them off.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll talk more about that in a bit when we get to that part.
Ooh, okay. Well, my notes are kind of all over the place. Like they're not necessarily in order.
Mine are kind of in order, but they're not.
Well, it's
Well,
only because well, when I watch the story multiple times as commentary and stuff, things occur to me at different times, so they're
yeah.
not like organized.
I also liked one of my notes is I liked all the scientific discussion, even though it was all bullshit.
About what?
Just everything.
About,
Because
well,
the professor, they were doing lots of experiments and throwing around all these like facts and
scientific
data.
terms. Well, I mean, I think that the environmental message is sound, and it's still a problem today. It's just the specifics of it aren't necessarily great. Although there actually is a substitute like protein fungus that vegetarians can eat called quorn, QUORN. And that was discovered after this story, so I guess they were on the ball with something at least. I mean, because there's really like no reason that you know oil sludge should should create giant maggots or be green. like,
Well, it's because it clearly wasn't just oil sludge.
well, whatever it is. I mean, I don't know. If if they had been like radiation, I'd be like fine because that's what Godzilla does. But I don't know.
Global chemical, Kate. Global
hmm
chemical.
But they only ever talk about oil, though. They never mention chemicals just
I
outside
know.
of the company's name. They talk about oil and they talk about coal.
They're taking our coal, Kate.
They're
They're
taking
taking
our
our
coal. I think it's interesting that this is I think about the only fucking episode of the classic series where Doctor Who is taking place in Wales, and of course the new series being made in Cardiff and Torchwood. There are just Wales all up in the show, but this is kind of the first time we went out there, so that's neat.
So basically, the plot is the doctor's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. The brigadier, for the most part, is just following orders. Joe's working with this doctor who's trying to stop Global Chemical, and it turns out Global Chemical is a giant evil corporation run by somebody evil.
You don't say. Well, more like an evil computer.
And mind, well, I was gonna save that, but yeah, it's run by a computer that's mind controlling people.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Yes, yes, yes. So pretty much it, I guess. And we don't want to have I guess we got to get rid of the maggots before they turn into giant flies, or else that
Yes,
will be a problem. Because yeah. uh,
I liked the computer though. I liked it.
I I don't know.
I feel like Captain America, spoiler alert, stole that scene when they reveal the computer
Oh, and in Winter Soldier,
in yeah for Armin Zola.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I thought. I think the computer is performed well. I think that it's he's a different kind of like evil computer because like computers are like "Meow, meow, meow," in Doctor Who a lot, but this one is very like almost human
Yeah,
and
this is
has a lot of personality to it, and like he sings and hums to himself, and I like that, but I don't know if I don't think he's necessary to the story. I think he could have done it without him. I don't think like there's really no reason for that twist to be there. It doesn't have shit to do with fuck. I mean, you
I
know,
saw it coming from a mile away. As soon as they started hearing it, I'm like, is it gonna be a computer?
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. But there's really no reason that you needed him. I mean, the fucking global chemical CEO could have just been an asshole.
I
like you
know,
didn't
but I
you didn't
really
need
liked it. The computer was awesome.
him. Eh.
And it justified his with like the weird efficiency and motivations and stuff, and like how they since
But it took something interesting and it basically boiled it down to the war machines again.
yeah, I guess. But I liked it. And then the Doctor was in drag.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It's a British show. What did you expect?
well, it's not so much because it's a British show. It's because that's just the kind of thing John Pertwee does. I mean, that's the sort of like comedy stuff. Not necessarily drag, but I mean, it's the comedy stuff is what he was known for at the time. I mean, Doctor Who was unusual for him. He just hadn't got to do his usual shtick on the show before, so
I didn't know that,
yeah, he was primarily known for comedy. So
but I liked him in drag cleaning things. It made me laugh.
mostly made me laugh is because like at that point he crosses paths with Mike Yates, who's undercover in the corporation. and just Yates's face and the way he just
Yeah,
he
that's
just
how it started.
delights in this. So
Yeah, that's where where Yates started like really shining in the story. And then like I really like that phone call he has with the brig and the doctor. When the doctor's trying to sneak back into Global Chemical, and like they're doing it in code,
Oh,
sort of,
because he has a goon
because he has
standing over his
he has a
shoulder.
goon over his shoulder.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that was just really well done.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's an old chestnut as far as drama is concerned, but
Well,
it
I mean,
definitely it's
it's
definitely
also
done well. I'm not.
the '70s. Like, is it an
Yeah.
old chestnut?
By then, I don't know. Probably. I mean, I'm sure the spy fiction of the '60s would have had more than one of those, but um, I still liked it. I mean, it was fine and enjoyable.
So the only other note I have is about when the professor gets infected, he
Mm.
gets bit by one of the maggots. The makeup that they use for the infection is really good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like it looked disgusting and
It
like
was really gross, and because I mean, it seemed like it was carrying like disease and infection in it. Because I mean, it's not just the green, but like there's the black, like brownish,
yeah.
sickly tinges to it. It's not good. Um, not good at all. But having watched Moonbase recently, where they have like the space infection, the Cybermen influence, whatever, spread through people's veins, that looked really good too. So maybe Doctor Who just does infection really well.
Yeah, I possibly, but I liked it. That was it. Just it looked so good. It was disgusting.
Right, it was very disgusting. Um, see, what other nitpicks do I have? Oh, the Doctor when he's got the like Beats by Doctor Who headphones on. Um, the computer's like trying to brainwash him. He's like reciting pi, I guess, to amuse himself while he waits. He gets pi wrong.
He does.
He does. He says 3.1416 and then trails off. It's 3.1415, Doctor.
I see. God damn it.
I mean, granted, it's 3.14159, which means if you wanted to round up to, only a certain amount of digits, it could be 16, I suppose, but that's not what he did, so he's wrong. I shouldn't know pi more than the Doctor does. Because you know what? I'm not even good at math.
That's just remembering digits. That's not math,
Well, it's yes, but it's a mathematical concept.
I guess.
It would have been taught in math class, where I've usually been zoned out eating like 7-Eleven hot dogs.
And then the maggots attacked.
And then the maggots attacked?
Lots of them. They tried blowing them up. They firebomb them. They shoot them,
Oh, yeah, that was not good.
and then they give them mushrooms and they die.
Yeah, because the mushrooms kills them. And it cures the degree of death infection, too. And it doubles as protein. There's really nothing this mushroom can't do. That bombing the maggots thing, that wasn't very like that's another kind of disappointing effect sequence because it's just a
Yeah, that
terrible
wasn't great.
helicopter. It wasn't very good. Because they're just like, oh, the Air Force is coming in. It's just one little piddly, pathetic looking thing. Um, Not entirely their fault though. They were planning on having the Air Force actually participate in this episode the way the Navy had helped out with Sea Devils. But I guess between that story and this one, there had been like defense budget cuts, and they couldn't afford to send over, F-16s or whatever the fuck. So you get one helicopter.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. Um,
Sorry. Yawning. I don't know why I'm yawning all of a sudden. A lot.
I don't know either. There's that. I think. What else is in my notes? So the original concept for this story, I mean, it got started because Barry Letts was something of an environmentalist, an early environmentalist, I guess, and was very concerned about the planet and wished he could, sort of get the message out there. and but he felt like he couldn't because he didn't, he was doing fiction and not documentary stuff. And they're just like, well, why don't we just make a Doctor Who about it? So that was this. I think it did change sort of uh, in what the concept would be, because I think at first they were trying to, it was going to be a story about, there was like a race of like flying space scavengers that were like stripping planets for resources and stuff. But I don't know, we ended up with
Now,
maggots
God damn,
instead for some reason.
now I can't. The just Space Scavenger just put my mind to Planetary Annihilation, the game where you strip mine planets and then you put booster rockets on them and throw them at your enemies.
Oh, um, let's see. Oh, the actor who played Elgin, which is kind of like, he was kind of like the second in command at Global Chemicals. If you'll notice, he disappears after like episode 4,
Yeah.
and the reason for that is because the poor bastard got peritonitis and had to be fucking
Oh
rushed out to the hospital.
shit!
So
Fuck,
that's
man.
that's why he's replaced by a new character, like, midway through the story. It was supposed to be him all the way through, but they're like, well, you're dying, so you know.
I
um,
didn't get the part where the doctor and the brig were trying to get in at the very end, and the guard at Global Chemical points a gun at both of them, and
yeah,
is like, "You're not getting any further." Why would you point a gun at a uniformed military officer? Like
because
that
he's
is oh,
brainwashed by the computer.
not at sort of, but it's like
Yeah, he totally is.
I don't know. Sometimes even when they're not though, before
Yeah,
they start brainwashing everyone.
right. Um, I guess that's true. Although there's a lot of brainwashing in this story, because, like, the Doctor does go to Metabulus 3 without Joe, and he gets his little hypnotizing
Okay,
sapphire.
that's another one of my
He's like, because the computer like gets to Yates at a certain point,
No,
and
no, 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 no. It's not just it's the Deus Ex Machina crystal. Like,
ah,
oh look, this solves it's our fucking MacGuffin.
well, to be fair, he did get it in like the first episode. He just didn't use it.
Well, I know, but there was no like,
Why he didn't, I don't know. But
yeah, they. I feel
I just,
like
I
that's the
just,
only reason he talks about Metabulus 3 is so that when they got to the later parts of the plot, that's how they could solve it.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's really not. I mean, they first mentioned it back in Carnival of Monsters. But
Yeah,
like,
that's true. He did say that's where they were trying to go.
and we are going back there eventually. So like, it's going to be something of an ongoing plot thread. Um,
Well,
but
John Pertwee only has a season left.
dun dun dun. I know, how very exciting. But yeah, I like the where he's like dehypnotizing
Oh,
Yates,
the
and then the
effect was
brig
cool.
gets hypnotized too.
No, that was fucking hilarious. Oh god, yeah, when he's dehypnocratizing Yates, and then he looks over and the brig is just like glassy-eyed staring. He's like, "Oh man, not you two."
Fuck sakes.
Yeah, it was great. It was the brig usually doesn't have anything silly like that ever happen to his character, so when it did,
No,
it was
he's
really nice.
he's very, upstanding, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess as for like the message of the story itself, I felt that it's a little bit overly preachy in some places with the environmentalism, and that's saying something, because it's like, I agree with them. It's still too much, you know. Like, it's a little bit like,
Well, I can agree with you, but then the other thing is the environmental protection was fighting against toxic green sludge that mutated maggots and like
yeah, but I mean
it
they
was a
didn't
little
know
more
that.
extreme.
They didn't know that. A lot of the preachiness is actually in the first episode, where both the
Oh,
Professor Jones and Joe are going on about, oh, we have to save the planet and blah 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 blah. It's like, yeah, I know, but stop annoying.
I barely remember. For some reason, I barely remember the first episode.
Yeah, and actually, that's my biggest complaint about Joe in this story, is that, you know, as much as I've warmed to her and come to enjoy her over these 3 seasons,
She didn't do much.
Katie, well, not such, she didn't do much. It's just in the first episode and a few scenes here and there, I feel like Katie Manning like overacts like fucking crazy, and she does it And she's usually not bad, but every so often, like once a story, she'll have a moment where she goes way too big with things and sounds like she's in a middle school play, and it's just I don't know, it bugs me.
I wish you enjoyed this more.
I thought it was okay. I don't think it's bad. I mean, Um, what else? So actually, the actor who played the professor really was Katie Manning's boyfriend at the time. So
Oh, really?
yeah, there you go.
Is that why they share such a passionate kiss for a British TV show in the 70s?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, obviously it was scripted before they cast him. So, but um, that's the thing that I like the most about this story. Honestly, is the character drama and the sort of relationship stuff where between not just the Doctor and Joe, but with Unit as well. Like they really feel like a family. They feel like friends in this story. They have there's a lot of scenes in this where nothing sci-fi is going on. Joe is hanging around with the professor, like in an evening dress by the fire, and it's getting all very steamy. And there's Unit and the Doctor and everyone. They're having a
Doctor's
dinner
hanging out with
party.
Yates.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I really
I
like.
think that's the strongest element.
I think that might be why I like this story so much more than you. Is I really enjoyed all that stuff that I kind of forgave the other parts.
Yeah. There's some really just fantastic stuff, and it's like by episode 3 the threat seems like maybe it's been conquered. So by the end of it, it's just like, yeah, we're gonna have a drink with the brigadier and shoot the shit, and everyone's having fun, and that's cool, and I like that a lot. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's we should talk about the obvious thing of Joe leaving. So how do we feel about that? What do you think of how it was done?
It felt a little cartoony
Yeah.
because of the she's getting married.
Yeah, that's the part. That's what stuck in my craw, I think. Because it's like you've known him for like 3 days at most, for fuck's sake.
So
Like,
Joe totally kind of seems like the kind of person that would do that.
I guess, but it still rubbed me the wrong way. I
No, it
mean,
rubbed me the wrong way too. But
like almost everything else works. They did a good job over the course of the last few seasons, where she really grows up from who she was in Terror of the Autons. She's come a long way since then, and she's gotten a lot more independent. And now throughout this story, they've been doing a good job of demonstrating that she's kind of leaving the nest as far as the Doctor's concerned, and sort of striking out on her own more and stuff like that. And that's all good. So had they ended this with her deciding to go and to the Amazon to research magic mushrooms with fucking hippie man, I would have been okay with that. But like getting married, like really, it's that gets under my skin and bugs the shit out of me.
yeah,
I just ugh.
I agree.
It was almost a perfect send off. It was. I mean, even as it stands, it's pretty
I
up
agree,
there.
but at least with the marriage, she gets a happy ending, and we know that.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's true. Although we will see her again at some point, so
Oh, sweet.
I know for a fact she turns up on Sarah Jane Adventures once or twice.
Really?
Yeah, so but I don't know if we'll see her like in the classic series again. I don't remember.
Oh man. Next we get Sarah Jane though,
We do.
which I am excited
So.
for.
Although with the farewell scene, I think it's weird because like, despite the fact that it's kind of Joe's time in the limelight, it's everyone else who shines in that scene.
Yeah, no,
Because
that's
the
totally
Brigadier's really
true.
good, and Benson's fun, and it's a very sort of family, atmosphere, going away party type thing. I mean, you can tell the people are sad that the sort of group that had been for the last 3 seasons is starting to splinter off, but it's just really well played, especially. I have to praise Yates again because he was kind of sort of a bit of a romantic interest for her, and he didn't get the girl. And if you watch his face when she says we're getting married, he looks just crushed. and, and they don't really focus on it, but I thought that was
He
that was
made
very
her
nice.
cocoa in the first story.
He did, and then he stole Benton's lunch like an asshole.
I, we still get more Yates and Benton, even though Joe's gone, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I love Yates and Benton, and of course I love the Brig too. But
Yes, indeed. Although, I mean, really, I think the star of the Joe send off is John Pertwee. I mean, like he did so good with that.
he's so good, and like the
You
way
can
he
you can
walks away.
I know, like where he's just everyone is having like a party for
Well, he's
Joe's
like
engagement,
you
and
can
he's like, I
tell,
can't even deal with this, and he just
like
leaves by himself.
he knows she's leaving, and he can't take it emotionally, and he doesn't want to ruin the party for everyone else, so he
No,
leaves.
so he leaves on his own, and you know, and it's really quite heartbreaking because he walks off to Betsy and he just sits down and he has a moment where he just looks like the saddest person ever before he drives off
I
by
know
himself. It's
him
like, and that's the end of the season too. It's like, god damn.
him and Joe really became like fantastic friends, and I loved their relationship and the way it evolved. And I really like Joe. I really like Joe. I'm gonna miss her.
Yeah, for sure. And I think she's got the best send off. One of the best send offs in the classic series so far. I mean, the only other ones that can kind of stack up to it. I mean, like Susan and Ian and Barbara all got good exits, and I think that
Jamie got a good exit.
Jamie and Zoe also did. I mean, Jamie and Zoe are kind of almost on a level with this because it's both like really sad, but in a different way. Because it's not like they've grown up and they're moving on. It's just they're being forced apart, and that sucks. um, but yeah, those last few minutes were really well done, except for the marriage thing because that bugs me. But yeah.
Yeah, I like the story. I thought it was good. It's not
I
great. It's like I don't know.
I
The
think I think
three
there's a lot
three
of like
five.
there's a lot of parts of it that work really well, but as a whole, I think it's a little bit uneven.
That's why I said 3.5. It's a
Well,
7 out of 10.
I would have gone closer to like a six-ish,
Six,
but
six, three. I said 3.35. Good,
yeah,
better than
pretty
some of
good.
the trash
Um,
we've seen.
yeah, one of the interesting things about the DVD is that for the final episode of this. There's a bonus commentary with Katie Manning and Russell T Davies together. Um,
Whoa.
Which is interesting to hear what Russell T Davies thought of it because I mean he's a total fanboy and pretty much anytime like if you have any of the new series DVDs, anytime Russell and David Tennant are together on a commentary, it just ends up being classic series fan wank, but but he's definitely a welcome presence, but like he's really passionate about this particular episode. I mean, he loves it to pieces, and I don't know. It was interesting for me because it's like you can really see the kinds of things that shaped his own vision of sort of what he likes to see in Doctor Who, for better or for worse. Um, I can definitely see why this particular episode meant a lot to him because it's the kind of thing that he would do with Rose and a lot of his and Donna for that matter. So um, it's interesting. Although I don't like he pointed out that he thought a really great moment was when is in the Demons when Joe's like don't kill the Doctor, kill me, and the power of love kills the demon and I don't know. I don't
Kate,
agree with I don't
Kate,
agree with Russell. That was
Kate,
cheesy as fuck.
Kate.
What?
Fire Dome.
That was no, that's a great story, but I don't like that moment. I don't like that resolution. I think it's cheesy as shit, especially because her and the Doctor weren't really friends at that point.
Yeah, no, that is a really
But
bad ending to a
I was
fantastic
like,
story.
but just listening to it, I'm like, yeah, Russell T Davies, of course you liked that. I've seen Parting of the Ways, motherfucker. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about the Green Death, I guess.
I'm done too. This
Yeah,
was a good episode.
it's perfectly fine. So I guess next week we'll be talking about two things, won't we?
Season 10.
We'll be talking about season 10 wrap up. We'll also be covering the audio story "The Prisoner of Peladon," which follows on from the end of Green Death. So that's why it's here. Haha, go figure. So look forward to that, I guess.
Yay, we'll be back
Or
next
don't,
week.
cause fuck you.
Bye everyone.
Bye.